Alright, what's up, Dragon Brood? I'm just thinking we might actually have been seeing Mono Green's final form for this season, because this version is the version that's been doing well in a bunch of online events, and it's even starting to move up the ranks percentage-wise in those tournaments. So I figured we're going to take something that's in best of 3 doing really well and seeing how it performs in best of 1 today. So this list does play some giant growth, which is pretty good. Give yourself +3/+3, but it does make sense when you're playing the might as well, because you can pump this up, attack, and get to pump something else. Of course, it's playing Landfall Elves because you're playing green, you're playing aggro, why not? And Paw Patch Recruit. So we have a bunch of 1 mana things we can play, but obviously Paw Patch Recruit plays like a 3 mana thing as well. There's more defense here in the form of Royal Treatment. This can give a creature +1/+1 and give it hexproof to end a turn, which is really nice. And then we have Tifa's Limit Break. I've seen this pop up as well, and it's kind of interesting because it's just a +2/+2. But then if you pay 3 mana instead of 1 mana, you can double the power and toughness of something. But then if you pay 8 mana, which I don't know how often this deck would ever pay 8, you then get to triple target creature's power and toughness. Probably won't ever get to that situation. We do play some Frenzied Baloth, because obviously making stuff not be countered is also very good. Interestingly, it does play Innkeeper's Talent. And I guess technically if you're playing the Might and you still want to pump stuff, this makes sense. But you do also have different types of Tramplers, as well as having Tifa's Limit Break that can pump something up to, I guess, eventually double their power, which is relevant. Keen-Eyed Curator helps us with graveyard stuff, as well as just being a solid creature. Does play a couple of copies of Sentinel of the Nameless City. Just a good card all around here. Surrak, Elusive Hunter, so again, if your opponent decides to counter your stuff or target your stuff, you get to draw cards, which is super nice. And of course, if you're playing green, you're playing Ouroboros because this card's just silly. And lands aren't fancy. We're just playing a bunch of forests and a couple of Soulstone Sanctuary. So yeah, if you're a fan of Mono Green, at the end of the video, after you see how this works out, if you're thinking about downloading it, there'll be a link that takes you over to Moxfield, our channel sponsor. But if maybe you want to buy this, play it in your local store championship events, well then check out our friends over at Tales of Adventure. It's TOAMagic.com. You can use my code DRAGON. It's DRAGN, and that'll save you 5% on whatever you get on that website, whether you buy this deck or not. But all that being said, let's go see if this late stage Mono Green is what we should be playing. Okay, I mean, I guess there's going to be a lot of hands we just keep, right? You have Might plus Might. Actually, we're probably Might plus Frenzy and whatever, but that is kind of funny because you can use 1 Might to pump the other one, and then that triggers pumping the other one. Cute little interaction. I don't know how often it actually would come up and matter. Though when you have a Trampler like Baloth, I mean, sometimes you could just double Might and just attack, and call it good, right? Put all the bonuses on the Baloth. Oh. If that's what the opponent's doing, I think I want 2 rates because they're likely playing the version that's the Landfall pile. So let's just do all the damage we can and then just say, cool. You need at least 2 things here to not die, opponent. This seems like it can also hang with the Landfall version if they were to get it. So that is something. Oh yeah, opponent's just Dunskies here, right? And I mean, I guess we could pay the 1 just because, but put the counter on a Might, then we attack. We can spread all the cool power toughness everywhere we want to go. And no matter how they block, that should be enough. Yeah, that went way easier than expected, for sure. Okay, definitely keeping. Yeah, and this is one where, like, if Landfall Elves lives, this is kind of nice, because worst thing that happens, you play Surrak, they kill Surrak, you get a card. And that's really one of the best things about Surrak, is you're almost always going to get something for this dying, which is super nice. Which, speaking of, they're probably going to fire something off here. It's a Demon Wall. Fair. I think here we just attack with this and we could Tifa to double something, so we'll probably just Giant Growth. Assuming they block. I mean, if they don't block, that's also great. Actually, they're taking 7. Do we make them just take 10 here? Though, to be honest, if we giant growth in Tifa next turn, yeah, let's not. I want to do the big cool thing. Honestly, if they tap to play the room here, they just die, right? Because whatever gets through, we just giant growth and double. Oh no, they're gonna ruin our fun. Damn it. Alright, fine. You get to see the shenanigans we're up to. I'm so disappointed right now. Wait, they took the giant growth. I guess because it's less mana? I don't know. Oh, that's cute. So we can still possibly do silly shenanigans here, right? Pump. Double? Yeah, because it's only 4 mana. And we can't double. So, sure. I mean, they also know we have the Tifa's Limit Break. They don't know we have the other one, which is kind of funny. Alright, so this is 4. We could turn it into 6, and then we can double it to 12. I don't know. I'm going to try it. I love the effect on this, too, by the way. Yep, and then we just double it. Alright, man. The sec's kind of wild. Yeah, sure. This isn't as explosive as our last couple of hands. But, you know, we get to do things, so we can't be too upset here. Alright, so, assuming... You know what, I'm going to attack here. Like, if you block, fine. Cool, I'm willing to make that trade. And then they play a Tifa here. No, it's a hurt arrow. Oh, no. I got aggressive. Oh, because you're doing the same thing we're doing, just a little different. Oh. This is going to be a problem. I may have messed up. I just went on the fact that hardly anybody's playing this, and they're just playing the Landfall version. Oh. Alright. Well. Sometimes you mess up, and you got to live with the consequences. That's tough. Alright. So, let's see here, though. If we were to get an untapped land, we put a counter, it goes to 5. We giant growth to 8. I mean, that is lethal. You know what I mean? Like, that's not nothing. I mean, they can obviously block here with curators and stuff now, but it is a thing. I mean, we could also die now, too, if they have the right cards next to it. This is silly. I love it, though. This is just good old fun magic here, you know? Alright. Again, we could pump. I mean, I assume they're going to block here, but I guess we got to put them to the test, right? If they don't block, it's ball game. Which is wild that the opponent... Yeah, alright. This is crazy. When opponents are at 16, don't block, and you're like, yep, that's it. Got them. From 16 to 0. Like, this deck is silly. Y'all, okay, let's have a real talk here. We might be in a world where if this deck is this good, and I don't know, you still got to play more games. That's a small sample size, right, so far. But if it is, we might be in a world where if your opponent has 2 cards in hand and 3/4 mana, like, you might not be able to let a green creature get through anymore, which is crazy that we're in this world. But maybe, I don't know. Let's just see how the rest of the games play out. No, we're definitely keeping this. Oh, well, this is an actual Landfall deck, and they are on the play, so we're in a bit of trouble here. The only thing that helps in these matchups is sometimes, you know, because we have stuff like the 3/4 creature and whatnot, like, we can make things big enough to buy time. But I don't know if that's going to do it. We'll see, though. We have a bunch of pump spells, and those can help. We're just going to have to be real careful in how we use everything, I think. Because, I mean, this Chocobo could easily be 4, 5, 6 power. Oh, no. You kick my dude. Equal to his power, then his spell is kicked. Boo. Alright, well, can't do much about that. That just kind of is what happened. Wish I would have had a land on tap, though. That would have been huge then. We're also hitting that point where we have more spells than we have threats. And that's going to quickly become a problem. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to creature and opponent control. If the spell was kicked, the creature does twice that much. Yeah, that's fair. You're not even playing a land here, so we kind of know what's going on, right? We're going to block. They're going to play a Overprotect, I'm assuming. So we're going to block here. And I assume Overprotect as the card's coming down, so we're just going to have to Giant Growth. Whoa. Whoa. We're just letting that be? See, this is weird, because now I'm in this game of chicken, right? Because if I royal, I think we have to Giant Growth. Like, I want to just treatment to save a creature, but then the problem is then they Overprotect, they get to keep Bristly Bill, and we lose our creature. So we're kind of priced into playing that if they have it. Oh, I guess I didn't think we had a Giant Growth. Nice! Just to be clear, for a breakdown here, so people know what I was talking about. Like, we're in this situation that because they have mana open, right now, prior to me playing the Giant Growth, they just have a 4/3. They are willing to let Bristly Bill die in this scenario. At least it seems that way, right? They might just have another Bristly Bill or something. Who knows? So my situation here is with 1 mana open, if we play a Royal Treatment to give our creature +1/+1, so it becomes a 5/4, then if they have something to protect Bristly Bill, usually these decks are playing Overprotect to give them +3/+3, we get blown out on that attack step. So I have to commit to the Giant Growth. So if they do have Overprotect, we at least still get to trade and we don't take any damage. It just makes Bristly Bill 6/6. Turns out, I guess they didn't have any of that, and we didn't lose our creature, and that was just enough for the opponent to scoop. I don't know, but you just take those where you get them. Okay, let's keep it. This is kind of cool. If these both survive, turn 3 is like put a counter on Symbiote, have Giant Growth, pump a bunch of... Yeah, this... If these creatures don't get killed, I expect at least one of them will die. But if they don't... No, wrong card. If we don't, this could be a crazy, crazy turn. And it's weird too, right? Looking at this deck, because it almost looks like, oh, well, if I get these creatures instead of these creatures, or these cards with these cards, like it just shouldn't work. But so far, everything just works. All right, I'm going to assume, rightfully or wrongfully, that Frenzy Baloth is not surviving here. Oh, it is going to survive. Okay. So this is kind of like, what if the opponent doesn't block? We could make... Well, we'd have to do it pre-combat, though. That's the thing. If they didn't have a creature and we were to just go nuts on the might, we could add 4, so that'd be a 4 plus 3 is 7. Nah, still wouldn't be lethal. It'd be exciting, but it wouldn't be lethal. Go to the attack step. Go attacking. I could have just played Giant Growth beforehand, but at least here they'll block the Symbiote, and we can do that. Otherwise, knowing we wouldn't kill them, they're probably just not blocking there, I don't think. Because we'd have made that 5. This would have been 8. That's 13. Yeah, we still wouldn't have killed them, I don't think. Maybe we would have. I don't know. Hello, Vivi. How are you today? If we play this, like, do I just want to pump this up? And then just put more counters on the Symbiote? Yeah, I guess I do, right? And then... Oh, it's 4 to do that. Oh. For some reason, I thought it was 3. That's bad. I would have rather just had the mana for the Curator here. Ah, that sucks. Oh, well. Live and learn. I mean, you gotta block something. It's 3 either way. I don't think we're in harm's way by any stretch here, though. Boo! Alright, might as well still remove Vivi from their yard. I mean, obviously they have something that costs 3. So there goes our board. When did they start playing ill-time explosions? I mean, anything that costs 3, opponent, you got it. Oh, that thing that costs 5. Alright. That's a thing that happened. Alright, might as well just level this up now since it's just sitting here. Well, that's a problem. We didn't draw any creatures to... I mean, we drew 3, and that was it. So, kinda in the world of hurt here. Good news is, any creature we get automatically gets a couple of counters. That's sort of nice. Can we get one? No, we cannot. Then we're probably dead ski. If they have anything that draws cards here. Yeah, might as well. Get your damage in, opponent. Yeah, they're like, why not? Get more damage. Oh, wait. If they attack with everything, and if we draw a Frenzied Baloth, we also win. So we're not without options. I mean, it's going to be rough next turn, but... yeah, they're leaving a creature back. Granted, they don't know we have these, but still. Okay, well, we didn't get there anyway. I guess we might as well play this. I mean, just make it harder for them to deal with our creatures, I guess. Sure. Yeah, now I think the only thing we can do is play a hasty creature. Because they'll put us to 8. If they have another creature, though, they give stuff. Okay, they're going to discard and draw. Or actually, maybe not. Maybe they're just going to draw. Because you don't have to discard. And then that pumps their creature up twice. Oh, there's a Vivi. Alright, so they'd rather have more mana for the turn. Which I guess is good for us, because it technically buys us another turn. Alright. Come on, hasty boy. This is your time to shine. It was not there. It was not there. And now any one spell just kills us. Yeah, we're not winning this. I mean, I'll play this just for sport, but anything they do on their turn kills us. God, if we'd have got even one creature 2 turns ago, we'd have been okay. But such is life. Yeah. Man, that's rough. We were close, but we just bricked. I mean, it took us too long to even find our 4th creature. Yeah, that's fine. Now they're just playing with their food. Alright, I'm gonna pass. Like, I'm gonna assume they have something. If they don't, fine. But, whatever. Okay. I mean, this is a little tough because once the Baloths are done, we don't have much else going on with this hand. But we really can't just not play it, you know? Oh, Llanowar Elf, you're so late. Okay. We need an untapped land deck. That would help a whole hell of a lot. Alright, you can tap for mana. Nope, they're just attacking. There's like the hell with that mana situation. Alright, well, here we go. You can obviously block, we're going to Giant Growth, because it doesn't make sense not to. Alright. Next turn, we at least can toy around with the idea of an Ouroboros. Actually, if we can Ouroboros, like if we can get an untapped land, Ouroboros plus Giant Growth, that's backbreaking. Yeah, Shelter, you got it. Excellent. That's not even the dude I was worried about you sheltering. Yep. You got it. Come on, deck. I know you got it in you. I believe. You don't. You don't have it in you. I believed for no reason. You got my hopes up. Alright. Hopefully you don't have another shelter, because they kept a very mana-light hand. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to play Might plus Innkeeper there, and then set up for a big turn the next... That's probably accurate. Since Ouroboros wasn't going to be the win there, probably would have been safer going Might, Innkeeper, leaving up mana for a Giant Growth to give us a reasonable block on something. And then possibly Ouroboros with more creatures out. But we'll see how it plays out. But I do think the other play, in hindsight, was better. It's fun to just throw Ouroboros out there, but realistically, we were better off playing those other cards and leaving up some defense. Because the opponent looks like they have the ability to be at least somewhat aggressive here. Alright. Diadrin. We got a little bit lucky, I think. And this costs, what, 2 to tap a thing? Yeah. Okay, I think we're in good shape here, then. So, we... Innkeeper's Talent. Giant Growth to Ouroboros. That makes this a 5, 6. Makes this a 10 and an 8. And then you have to block at least 2 things. Or at least 1 thing. Actually, this is what I'm thinking now. This is already going to be a 3. Well, technically it gets to add counters, so it becomes a 4. Yeah, we probably don't... I think we're better off doing this, actually. And then just setting up next turn. Alright. Yep, that works. Yeah, I was going to Giant Growth and just make it a little tougher for them, but realistically, as it stands, this is big enough that you have to block at least 2 things, and you can't really afford to double block a thing. I mean, I guess you could, but then you just give us a creature back, and that's also bad with us having a Might. So I preferred that over the Giant Growth play because I felt like the end result was similar, but if they survive and have something, we get a better turn next turn. Let's keep it. This is... Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter to play Might there, because we'd only be attacking for 1. So this makes more sense. Let's go here. And here. And maybe, hopefully, someday, find some pump spells. I will say this... Oh, well, that's exciting. I will say this for the deck, though. It plays a lot of pump spells, but that's because the deck has no defense, really. It's almost all offense. Yeah, that ends the game. Yeah, we're keeping this. There's Tifa's Limit Break. We know we can do some silly things with that. I was going to say, don't kill my Llanowar Elf. You don't want to do that. Alright. I feel like they had a burn spell or something there. They just chose not to play it. Okay, this is where decisions have to start being made. Alright, let's go here. And I'm actually going to play this pre-combat. You know what? I'm just... Yeah, let's just do that. Let's leave mana up so we can at least give something +2 if necessary. Though arguably, if we didn't play anything and the opponent would have targeted something, we put counters on a thing and double it, but that wouldn't even put them close to dead, so sure. Alright, here's hoping they don't sweep the board. Oh, because you're playing Smuggler. Surprise. Whoa. How are you getting this into play? That's concerning. I mean, at least I have a Giant Growth, but... Because that only deals 4, right? Yeah. Alright, Tanic, you will not be living long enough to do anything, my friend. We are going to see to that. Actually, I say that. Maybe they will. So we symbiote. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I gotta do some quick math. We're able to. We can't triple yet. We could double. So we could either double this from, let's say, 4 to 8. They block this, take 9, 10, 11. That's not really enough. If we make this 3, this becomes 6. But then they block this and take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh. Actually, I don't think we have a way to kill them. No matter how we do it. Yeah. Yeah. This could be a bad situation. So I think what we're going to do is split our big damage here and see if maybe we can entice them to some kind of block that favors us. Speaking of which, that will work. We double its power to 6. We at least get a creature's power and toughness. All right, cool. We at least get 1 trample damage out of that. All right. I mean, I'm assuming if they have something, we're dead anyway. But if not, we lucked out. They might also just have another Tanic and put something into play, but they don't have it. So killing that was good. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? Because if they didn't block, they'd take, what, 5 more and they're at 2? So realistically, we actually needed this other symbiote to be able to, or this Hemosymbic might to be able to win. I've been saying symbiotes because we're talking about Spider-Man. But leaving that play up was still the correct one because they were likely to have burn spells or whatever until we saw what they were doing with the Smuggler Surprise or whatever. So, man, crazy how small things can make all the difference. Even when it's a right play, it almost backfires. Wow, is this the first time we've had to mulligan? Maybe it's the second. But yeah, we're definitely mulliganing that hand. Keeping this, I'm going to get rid of a Paw Patch just because we would like to draw a 3rd land and eventually have this in cases of like Star Cage and stuff like that. Well, looks like Star Cage isn't going to be a problem for us. Who knew? All right, this I don't mind because I could see if they want to block. If so, we pump our creature and we play something else. Yeah, I guess we just go with Curator. All right, is this Tifa or is this Hydra? Or nothing. Maybe it's a Golgari pile. I would say, or they could also be playing this crazy deck. Who knows? Nope. And then here comes a land. Okay, so they are playing that deck. Ugh. Alright, at least they're using that before they get something better. You're kind of okay if they only use that with the Chocobo. Sadly, wish we would have drawn a land there, but we failed. So we're going to keep attacking. We're probably going to have to use Tifa's Limit Break. Oh, nope. I thought they might block and pump a Chocobo, but they chose not to. Alright, well, oh, wrong card. I don't think we're going to worry about defense here. We're just going to go big and maybe hope we draw Giant Growth since we're not finding lands and see what that'll do for us. Because at least a Giant Growth will allow us to pump a Might, pump the other Might. That Might then gets to pump something else, and then we still have a Limit Break, and that forces the opponent into a bunch of blocking actions. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Now, even another Tifa's Limit Break would be fine. But if we don't get either of those, yeah, this is a little too late to be drawing a land, unfortunately. Now I have to think about how we lose next turn, right? If they have another fetch land, then Tifa gets to be +2, +4, or actually +6. So like, yeah, then it doubles. So like, yeah, we'd be dead. I'm just debating, do I play Tifa's Limit Break first? And then we go pump symbiote, pump recruit, and force the opponent into a situation? But really, they just get rid of that and then double block, right? Because then they get to pump Tifa and pump the Chocobo. Yeah, otherwise we just don't have a good attack. Man, if this was a giant growth instead of a land, I think we would have been in great shape here. I don't know what we're supposed to do, truthfully. I guess we just play this and pass. Kind of sucks. But we're possibly dead next turn. I don't know. It's weird. Because there are some times where if they just like all-out attack here, then we can block in a way that we have enough to win with the symbiotes. So, or I keep saying symbiote because of Spider-Man, but with the mites. All right. Well, that's going to do it. All right. GG's. Didn't even matter. Yeah, that was just a bad draw on our part. Okay, let's keep it. Trying to figure out... I mean, yeah, I guess we're just on Balos here for a bit. And if they're playing some type of life gain deck or something, we at least put the pressure on them with Tramplers. I do like that about the list, though. Having a few Tramplers in here. Ooh. Oh, Deep Cavern back. Yeah, sure. Probably going to take the Ouroboros because, you know, that card's good. Yeah, I was going to say, if you take anything else, I was about to be very surprised. Alright, attacking. I mean, the question here would just be, can we keep up enough pressure? Do you need double black or double white by chance? Because every point matters. The wild thing about this deck is it can just sort of win out of nowhere. Alright, cool. You got it. It's crazy. Like, we're just mad disrespectful. We're just like, yeah, whatever. You can block. We're just going to pump our things. We don't care. We're not going to Tifa's here. I mean, we're going to Tifa, but likely just to force the issue here. I hope they try to block Surrak, but they're not. They didn't bite. Okay, well, we still got to do what we got to do. Alright, opponent's at 8. With some life gain options coming, obviously. That takes 5 to get 2 copies. Alright. No! That's not what we needed at all. I mean, at least it was a land, so we could double spell next turn. But God, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Okay, that's enough land deck. It was cute for a second. Alright. Not enough variety of things in the yard, because it's just a couple of creatures in an instant. And they'll get to play a 3/3 and get to draw a card. Oh, Elspeth, no!
I will turn the tide.
Actually, can we still get... No, because they're going to attack, go to 9. Well, we can't get rid of our creature, so you're likely making 1/1s here, I would imagine. I mean, we still have outs here, though, right? Like, just not that. That's not one of them. Alright, pump this. Whoa, go to attack. Put counters here. Just get in there, I guess. Force you to block. I mean, we still possibly die next turn. Because the opponent plays that, that's a point, we lose. Then they make 2 tokens, that's 2 points we lose. So that's already 8. They're going to attack for 4, but then we lose another one. So we're down to 3 at a minimum. So if they have even one more creature, it gets ugly. Yep. Oh yeah, then we're just dead. Alright, GG's. Ah, man, we were close. One spell away. One spell away. Cool, why not? You know, there's so many times where if you have a giant growth or a Tifa's limit break or vice versa, that just changes the entire complexity of a situation. Which is so wild how that works. I'm just doing that here. I thought about playing Curator there, but I'm going to play Sirach next turn no matter what. So, like, if you want to kill something, so be it. And it's still worth doing pre-combat, because if they want to kill your Baloth with something where creature has to be tapped or attacking or whatever, you still get a card. Kill Sirach, we get a card. Like, that's fine. Sure. Lenarelf, you're okay, I suppose. Oh boy, you're gonna have fun with this. Yep. There goes Ouroboros. There's to be 0 chance you're letting me. Oh wait, it has to be. No, you can get that. I was gonna say, yeah, why would you not? That was about to be crazy. I'm just gonna do this for now. Kind of be mana efficient and force them into a situation. Yeah, I'll take that. So if they have a sweeper, we reload the board. We do it again. And we have a Tifa's limit break they have to stay aware of as well. So that's fine. Sure. I mean, they probably have another one because they're obviously just playing some type of Orzhov Control pile, but if they do, they do. This could also be like Elspeth or something. Nope, it's a deadly cover-up. Sure. Alright. These decks are so boring to play against. And the funny thing is, we beat them a fair amount of time. They're just not fun. Mostly because they just don't feel interactive, I think. It's just like, okay, well, what are we really doing? What'd you get? You got the Baloth? Sure. Oh, this is nice. Not mad at that. Oh, boo. Didn't want to land, though. That sucked. At least the guy we got was a Trampler, right? Ashiok, sure. Alright, so here, all we got to do is draw Giant Growth. That's it. That's not what we need to be doing at all. Though, you have an instant sorcery. I have creature. We could get a Planeswalker in the yard. No, we can't. Actually, we could. Because they would double block. Damn, if I just attack and pump, that's 8. But they know we have the limit break is the problem. And if we don't kill Ashiok, it's 2 more dudes. Yeah, it sucks. We have to do this. I don't want to, but it just makes the most sense. Sure. Oh, do you just have another Ashiok? I bet they do. That's unfortunate. Alright, in the turn. Here's the good news. If their plan is just to play another Ashiok, we get the Keen-Eyed Curator, remove a bunch of things. Okay, that's the least of our problems. If that's all they have, we're good. Yeah, them just copying one of those doesn't do anything. But I get now why they didn't block, because blocking one still leaves Ashiok dead, but if they block with both, they don't have anything for their Caretaker's talent. So I have to take back what I said about this deck. They're at least doing some very non-normal stuff that's actually really cool. But yeah. Alright, let's go Planeswalker. Yeah, we're about to have just 2 big Tramplers. I don't even need to use Tifa's Limit Break here. Sorcery. Instant. And then on our side, we have a creature. And while they can make 1 more body, guess I might as well get this. Don't think it's going to matter. Actually, they can't even make one more body. They could just sack a thing. All right, GG's. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I have to say, this has been one of the better mono green decks I've played this season. Now, it did only go 7-4. However, in 2 of those losses, I got extremely unlucky just bricking the last couple turns or not getting a giant growth instead of the Tifa's Limit Break or whatever. It could have went either way. So this deck was able to be in the game against a lot of different decks, which is pretty cool. And it doesn't feel like you need to have any particular draw to win, which is also nice. If anything, I would say there was times I wanted more giant growth, but the flip side of that is Tifa's Limit Break does allow you to do some really silly things to just win the game out of nowhere with just 3 mana, right? Sometimes with 4 if you have a giant growth or maybe Royal Treatment to go with it. Arguably, now as much as this is a defensive card and some of the only defense we have outside of technically Recruit or Surak to be able to, draw cards or pump things up, I wouldn't be totally opposed to turning these Royal Treatments into an additional giant growth and an additional Tifa's Limit Break. The reason being is a large chunk of the removal your opponents are using these days does happen to be burn-based removal. Now, there are still things like Get Lost or Shoot the Sheriff, so it's not like these don't have any usage, but I think the benefit you get from having giant growth and Tifa's Limit Break opens up the doors for way more big wins that you wouldn't get otherwise, especially with the trampling creatures. So that's something to consider if you want to do that. That being said, this seems to be the version that most of the competitive players playing in the Magic Online leagues and such are already playing, and they all seem to be doing well with it. So maybe you don't want to mess with the good thing. But that's the one change I would make, and maybe cut an Innkeeper's Talent for something else. There was a lot of times where we top deck these and they didn't feel particularly great. They're not bad being able to pump stuff up every turn and whatever. And again, because you have tramplers, doubling those counters can be fantastic. But my final list, I would like to see 1 less of these and for sure 1 more either Limit Break or Giant Growth. But otherwise, yeah, this was fun. Had a blast with it. Would recommend if you want to play mono green. Links in the description. Become a channel member, support us, or just keep watching the videos and watch them all the way through because it's always free. It always helps, and I appreciate you for doing it. But that's all of you for now. We'll see you next time.